Good morning, everyone. In the second video of making the absolute tower in Canada, I will go ahead and start to make the geometry itself. And as we said in the previous video, we need to find the plan and we need to know the levels and rotation and rescale the plan to know the real dimension. And we got the required dimension to model a two ellipse, one an external one and one internal one, and the internal will represent the geometry and the external will represent the balcony one. Both rotated in each level in the same rotation degree, and as we said, we found that information or this information about each level and its its location and the overall amount of level and the rotation for each one of them. So I'm going to use this to build the geometry for this video. So what I need, as I said, is an ellipse. So I'm just going to go and write ellipse here. I'm gonna go this by original red eye, and it's basically just an ellipse, as you can see, and it need an origin point, and it's need an x-axis and y-axis. As you can see here, that's a point and that's the x-axis and y-axis. It's just simply, you can just double click in here and feed the number that we have, which is 30, and then semicolons, and then 42.5, and those the x-axis radius and the y-axis, as you can see. So now that's been done, that's the level itself, and we need to know how we can actually rotate it. Before we go, we really need to go and make a point, and in this point it's going to be here 0 0, same as this. Now we need to create the levels, which is 56. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that we have a 57. So we need to actually knowing I'm gonna start from 0 as a level, and then keep the sequence to go from 0 to 57, and I need to jump each 6 meters. I'm assuming the height of the tower, each level is 6. So what you need is to make a sequence. Instead, I'm just gonna go with a code block saying it's from 0 to 57, and you have to jump in 6, and that will not create what I want. Just to show you what it's gonna give me, it's gonna jump from 0 to 6 to 12. So in order to make that's a range, that's the beginning, clear end, as an actual number. So you have to make this as a step. So now you see the result is it's gonna jump from 0, 6, 12. It's for each level out of this, so it's make actually a 57 unit or level. It's actually now just numbers, they have nothing to do with levels, and the height is jumping each 6. So I'm gonna give this to the Z of that point, and that will create for me the required levels or ellipse at each level exactly. So that's been said and that's been done. We finished the first part of that. You can go ahead and create that based on a point, and you can create that again based on a plane. It depends on what you want, and in the origin design that you make. Now you can go ahead and create or start creating the rotation, and in it you need to get a rotation node. So I'm gonna go just write rotation or rotate. Let's see what we have. That's for geometry I want. So that's rotated vector. This one, I think, yep. And we have this one. So let's see which one we gonna pick. That's just a repetition. So I'm gonna go ahead and choose this one. This is the origin point, and that's an axis and a degree. So beautiful. And generally this is need and to clarify what axis you're going to rotate against, which is the Z. This dude is, I think this one is better. It's just need the geometry and the base plane and the degree. So if I want to use this, is have less parameter, because I'm going to repeat that for each level. So what I need to do is to replace this dude with, or actually add to this guy, probably need to add a plane by origin. Yep. So that will generate a plane for me, and I'm gonna link that to this one. So let's see if I need to change that. To something else. So that's basically based on a plane. Yeah, that's maybe that. That's one. Better. And then I'm gonna get rid of this guy. Now if I connect this to the plane, to the geometry, and I connect this to the plane itself, and I add, let's say, a 20 degree, each gonna go and rotate around, you know, the center of the plane 20 degree. That's easier, and again less parameter to be dealt with. So we don't want the whole tower to rotate the same. That's not what is the whole thing about. We can of course model an interval. So we model the first one, and then we model the last one that have the changes. So first I can model this, and then each one of them goes into, you know, an increase of a -1. So I can model this one and this one, and then start the geometry to sweep or to loft between them. But that's not the same method that we're gonna talk about today. This method I already used in the previous tower that I made in the snowflake tower, if you want to have a look at it. But instead I'm gonna make each level with its own rotation. So I'm starting from the 0, 1, and then going to level 9, and that's required us to use get item. So I don't want the whole list to be included. So instead, the list of the, let me get this out. So the list of ellipses that we have, the 57th of them, I will get them as a list. And again, I'm gonna add, I want I want the computer to pick for me from 0 to number 8, and then it's gonna go each one. So that will create a sequence for us, and it's gonna start from the first one, second one, and so on and so on, increasing by 1 as an indexes for this ellipse. That's what I want. And if you notice, I stopped at 8 because if you count them, you're gonna find as 9. So the whatever we found here as number 2, it's actually number 1, and number 1 is actually number 0. You should know that Revit, so actually Dynamo is already start up as 0 as the first one. Anyway, so that's what we want. So I get now my 9 ellipse, as you can see, and giving this the geometry. So only the first 9 actually will rotate in a base of a 20 degree. That's better, and again it's not correct, as we actually rotating each one of them by a -1. So that's what we want now. Now we need to specify exactly the rotation here based on the degree, and it's not a 20, it's just like, again, it's a range. And as you see, the range is starting from -10 to -2, and it's just increasing by 1. So we have to do that. We have to say from -10, and then 2 dots, and then we say stopping at -2, and then 2 dots, and it's an increment of a 1. So if we have a look at what we've done in here, and we're going to see that it's -10 and it ends at 2, and we also have 9 9 values, as you can see. That's what we have, 9 values here and 9 values in here. So now, is that correct? That's what we really need to check. And as you can see, it's here rotating a little bit, much more. If we compare it to that 120, I would really prefer even to do the same thing and to get the index here to be repeated just for safety. So the same list, it's actually, I'm going to take it by a plane, and again it's going to take the same indexes, and I'm going to give that to the base plane instead of everything, so those 9 will rotate around their own centers. That's much better, just a safety step. And as you can see, it's worked perfectly so far. Now again, those as an entire thing, I'm going to give them Control and G and make them a group, and that should be going from 0 to 9. What I've done, I meant here as a name, it says 0 to 9. Now I can just select this and then copy it, just hitting Control and moving the mouse, and here I'm gonna go from 10 to 25. Let me double check if this is correct. So because it jumped here from, it's an increasing in 1, it jump immediately 2, so I have to start again, starting from this 0, and it's increased by 3, 3, 3, 3, continuously up to 25, I guess, right? Yeah, it's 45 and stopped here because it's 45 and then it jumped 5. That's why I'm making a new list for that. Anyway, again, whatever you have to make it less by 1. So this is 9. And this is a 24, and the increase in 1 because that's for the list. Don't mess up with the thing here. And in the range, you will need to start at, let me see, it's 0 and it's end up at 45. So let's do that. So it's from 0 as a value of the beginning. That's the rotation here. It's going to go to the degree, as you can see. And it ends at a 45 degree, and the jump by 3. See, that's 0, 3, 6, and so on up to 45. Always check the overall number here and overall number here. They should be the same. And don't forget that the list also taking the same thing, same index, but for the plane. That's for the ellipses, that's for their own plane. And that's it. Now we, it's actually going to be generated automatically. And you can see that it's actually up to 45 here. Really huge amount. Anyway, and now I'll continue doing that. I'm gonna take a copy of that one, as you can see, and this time I'm gonna go let's say from 26 here up to 30 something. Yeah, it's increased by 8 now, up to 36, up to 37, I think, up to 39 here. You see it's stopped, and immediately it's gonna get increasing 5, and then some changes happen. Anyway, so let's do that. So this dude here will be from 26, if I can click on it. Yeah, that's 26. And it will end at 39. So whatever you have here, just -1. So from 25 to 38, and it's increased by 1 here, of course, because it's just a list. And again, they actually the values should be, I think, from 50 if I am not wrong. 20, yeah, 50 as you can see, and it's end up with something like that, 154. So 50, just 5 in here, and that is 154, and each time we're gonna jump by 8. Let's check. It's 50 to 154, 14 value by 14 value. I'm not gonna check in the tower itself. Okay, again. Now I have to start at 40, of course, here, and I will end up to something like 80. Which level? I can't remember anymore. It's just an increase by 3. Yeah, it's all of them 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 up to 51. Beautiful. So from 40 to 51, this will be a -1. Okay, and the rotation angle will be 159 to 192, and each one of them will jump into 3. So the last one should be 192. The last one is 192, as you can see at 51. The amounts are the same, 12 here, 12 here. And then the last one, finally, it should end by, again, 52, and to the end I'm gonna go here 56. So that technically will go 51 in here, and then the end will be 56. The rotation, we should start by 194, ending by 198. So again, it's 194, and it should be end with 198, and the increment is very small, which is 1. Now that's all. That's what we want, and you can see that the rotation is happening if you compare the original non-rotated geometry with the original, sorry, the rotated one with the original one. So now, instead of this, headache creator geometry, we really need to clean those things up. So the points probably I'm gonna keep. The planes I don't need to see them anymore, so I'm gonna remove them. And the same with the original ellipse. So I'll just remove that. As you can see, you see that the majority is been cancelled, but there is some of the origin. Actually, there is another copy of it. So the copies, because we take a list, a slice of each of the origin, we turn off the overall list of the origin. Now we need to get back to turn off the slice that we get. So as boring as possible, I'm gonna turn off this, and I'm also gonna turn off the reference planes that comes with them, and I'm gonna do that for the whole thing. Should have done that in the beginning, but it will make the thing, make the process of you understanding what we do or how I'm doing here much more harder. That's why I kept it. And as you can see, I'm just gonna getting those sub lists, let's say, turned off. Beautiful. So that's all. That's my geometry, actually rotated, as you can see. And you can see from the rotation that there is a nice shape behind that. That's the smallest ellipse. That means it's the geometry itself. And of course you can go ahead and unify them if you want. It's just a list. It's just a list.create, and in it I can just just link them all together. still one. Yep. So I'm gonna take that also. So those are the whole overall thing. And of course you can just go ahead and create a polyline, a solid. It's just a solid by cross sections. So as you can see, that generates for me a nice solid with some slices. I don't know what I missed over here, but anyway, that can give you an overall thinking of the rotation or the mass. And if you want to go ahead and use this method that I already explained in the snowflake tower, that you make the geometry and then you send the geometry to conceptual mass, and from the conceptual mass, which is this route, if you remember that I explained that, you take it to the conceptual massing, and from the conceptual massing you slice it, you export it to Revit project, and so that you go and slicing it. Again, we're not going to do that. That's why I'm not going to focus even on fix these gaps. I'm just going to remove, keeping this what I want. So I'm going to use that to export directly to Revit to create my slabs and create my walls actually in parapet. Anywho, that's it, I think, for the second step. In the third step, I will create the outer ring, which will be much easier, just a duplicate of that, and then go ahead and create the complete project. Thank you for watching me, and I will see you soon in the third video. Bye bye.